Happy Saturday. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift, episode 212. 212 weeks in a row, no weeks off. It's Passover. Big energy this weekend. Hope everybody's off to a great start to their weekend. And we're super pumped about today's episode. We have not one, but two very powerful, dynamic, awesome human beings and souls. And we're super pumped to share their wisdom and get this party started. So, without further ado, I'm going to get my co-pilot, Big Dave, on here. I'm going to wish him happy Passover, and then we're going to get the ball rolling. Let us know how you guys are feeling in the chats, what's you're most pumped about, and what you got going on this weekend. How will you be connected to the big energy of freedom, of breaking free from your own personal Egypt, leaving all negativity behind, stepping into the portal, and being available for all the great stuff that's in store for you. Big Dave, I see you on. I can feel your energy. Let's bring you on right now and see how many handsome knishes you scarfed down today. There he is.
Hey,
Happy Passover.
happy Passover. Hag Sameach.
That's right. You say it's so good.
It's part of my cultural background, so I've learned more than I have forgotten. So
Where are you?
it's a good equation. I'm in Nashville. Just left the Masters,
I was going to say that
and
you look like Augusta.
yeah, no, I came to Nashville. We have a fire walk here with the whole posse. We got amazing people, Rhett Powers and David Williams and James Maslow and Max Shapiro. And it's a 30 people on the fire walk. And then my whole family's here except for Marlena, who's in Malta right now in her studies. So, it's Mobile Meltzer. It's so beautiful out. I'm just walking the streets, and I just got done with an interview with Kyle Matthews, Clay Matthews Jr.'s brother, who has a huge real estate company, and the podcast, The Matthews Mindset. You got to check that out. One of my better episodes. A longer interview because it's a Saturday morning and everyone was sleeping. So I told him, you want more than 20 minutes, I'll go ahead and get interviewed by you.
I love it. All good stuff. I love it. The 20-minute windows you're notorious for. No one does a 20-minute window better than you.
Yeah, well, and the reason is, I call it the 520 rule. Bob Proctor, my mentor, right, told me after 5 minutes on a telephone call, you're just visiting. After 20 minutes in most meetings, you're just visiting. So you need to be very intentional about who you visit with. Do you want to visit with people you don't know or people that you barely know that you aren't going to do anything else with? Or do you want to visit with your kids and your wife and your friends? With Craig Siegel, when I come to New York on Monday and Tuesday for the unbelievable IPO Summit Mastermind, Napoleon Hill Foundation charitable VIP dinner. We got so much shit going on, man. I cannot wait to see you.
I can't wait to see you too. I love it all. While I'm bringing on our first guest, who I'm super pumped about, I'm just going to ask you real quick. The energy of Passover, you don't necessarily need to be Jewish to connect to it, this idea of freedom. What does it mean to you, Dave?
Yeah, so freedom is our ability to do what we want, when we want, with who we want, for as long as we want. And understanding that things happen very slowly, then all of a sudden, that's what Passover means to me. The definition of freedom and the desire to do what we want, when we want, with who we want, for as long as we want, and working for that capability. And then the idea of Passover to me was always things happen so slowly and then all of a sudden, and that have a significant impact on obviously millions of people throughout history. But it didn't happen overnight. It did not happen overnight.
Beautiful. That was brilliant. And speaking of brilliant and beautiful, from where
And
you at?
beautiful.
Hello.
Where are you dialing in from? Where are you?
It's nice and early here in Vancouver, Canada.
Very
Yes,
nice.
it is.
Very nice.
Yes. So
We're
good to
super,
see you guys.
Great to see you.
We're super pumped to have you. We know our community is going to love you. We love what you represent and so forth. Let's just dive right in. One of the many things that you talk about is this idea of praying away negative thoughts. But if you don't manage your mind, then it won't be super effective. Is that right?
Yes, I have this post up praying away negative emotions is like wishing for fitness but not working out. You have to do the work, and that is often the missing component. We think we can just sit and wait, and as entrepreneurs, it's the same thing, right? It's not going to fall in our laps. There's that action involved where we then able to actually get to the other side, where we get that breakthrough, where we bridge the gap. But you have to manage your mind. Your mind is really the driving force behind your brain and your body. So we have to use this incredible ability that we have to manage our minds and tap into our neuroplasticity, which is how we rewire the brain, and then obviously how we also influence the body.
It's a muscle that can be flexed, right?
Yes, absolutely. We all have this ability. Like I love the topic that you gave, the consciousness. I was like, whenever what brought to mind for me was whenever something comes into our conscious mind, we have 3 divisions of mind, we can actually do something about it. And that's David, you just spoke about freedom, and that is freedom for me. The fact that we have this ability to choose. That's freedom.
I love this. Big Dave, what's coming through for you?
Yeah, understanding logic is an additional thing to think about. So many people try to out logic and out analyze emotions, and they're totally different frequencies. And understanding emotion itself, which does have a biochemical reaction to it, one in which can, create a bunch of physical, mental, and emotional interferences. But in the end, what we really want to do is not use our logic or our analytic ability when it comes to feelings and emotion, energy itself. What we want to do is connect to it and understand the infinite amount of information, the infinite amount of energy. And instead of resisting it with logic and analytics, when we feel something that's bad or offensive or right or separate or inferior or superior, guilty, resentful, angry, frustrated, these emotions set us both physically, mentally, emotionally in the wrong direction. It's so important to get at ease, to get to center, and to use the energy in order to regulate the energy in the divine direction, the infinite direction. So I think a lot of people, when they hear the kind of more woo-woo stuff that I believe in, they don't have a practice for their own logic. And so I try to explain to them, just don't use your logic. Stop and breathe, get to ease, and then roll into your divine direction with the emotions at your back, not at your front.
All the good stuff is beyond logic. Elana, what were you about to say?
So good. No, David just said it so well. There's actually just emotions are there is a chemical process that happens within us, but the thing about emotions, it's actually just messengers, it's guides, and what we often do is we resist it, and what we resist persists. Now that chemical balance within us is only supposed to be there for 60 to 90 seconds.
Yes.
But what happens after that is us simply choosing to stay in that emotion loop. And then what happens after that is what sticks. The story we then create from that is what actually sticks. And that obviously impacts our behaviors.
Yeah, well, and one of the things too that contributes to the resistance, guys, is that everyone has a different variance of pain, of resistance. And so a lot of people handle this interference so well, but they don't even realize their potential if they removed it. And I think that was really aligned with my story. Is I had so much interference, biochemical interference, as well as all the other energetic interferences, but my capacity, my potential is so much higher. But comparatively, I thought, oh, I'm fine. Enough time to sleep when I'm dead. All these like resistant base activities, instead of realizing I'm only using 10% of my capacity, and I'm gonna start pursuing my potential by living at ease in the divine.
Beautiful.
So good.
Yeah,
So good.
there's a lot of commonalities that all of us have to talk about. A lot of one of the ones that you do, which I think is so beautiful, is this idea of how to not take things so personally. For many, that's easier said than done. what's something tangible or what really works for you to be able to achieve that?
Yes, I think that is something. A lot of the time we operate from ego, right? And our ego gets hurt a lot of the times. Um, we often take things so personally. But one thing that really was, again, that was freeing for me was when I realized that someone's behaviors were the indication of me. It wasn't about me, to as a matter of fact. It was an internal struggle within themselves that they just then project onto us. So that really freed me up, where instead of taking things personally, I actually learned grace in the process as well, that identifying that this person is obviously dealing with something, and I'm just on the receiving end of whatever they struggling with. So that was one thing. Another thing that I obviously when I call it the ABC. I used to be in accounting. Fun fact. Years ago, that's what I used to do. I'm the daughter of a lieutenant general. There's just white and black. There's no gray. And so um, I really had to learn to tap into the gray areas as well. And so I first don't just assume. I think a lot of the times we just assume stuff, and that is really what comes in with miscommunication. Like, I remember my accountant, my leader, he used to say, assumption is the mother of all if-ups. That's how he said it straight. He said that is behind all the mess. So avoid assumptions and be curious.
So
Be
smart.
curious. That is, and then obviously don't let it take root in you, but also distance yourself. There's one thing that my favorite tool is this, and I'm going to simplify it. My heart is simplifying everything. Just because we can do hard things doesn't mean everything we do needs to be hard to actually have an impact. And so this thing is called multiple perspective advantage that all of us have. It's just, again, tapping into that. And so I always use this when I feel triggered. It helps us distance ourselves from the emotion, but also from the situation, when we all even able to see it from a different angle. So it's as simple as that, as this. What advice would I give someone else? What advice would I give someone else? That's basically what multiple perspective advantage means. Now I give myself advice as if I'm giving advice to you, Greg. You, me, I'm you going through it, not me. And we distance ourselves, but we remove ourselves from the emotion, which might be the driver behind the way we're going to behave and act. And so it's just taking a step back and pause.
Spot on.
Yeah, I always tell people as a parent that why don't you give yourself the advice you give your kids, and you'll be much better off. As the hypocrisy of being a parent lives itself, and then two, ego is misunderstood a lot of the times. Yeah, it edges goodness and God and growth and gold out of our lives, but it actually has a purpose in the human experience defined by when our heart starts and stops in that linear time frame, and it's simply to regulate energy. So a lot of people don't think of the ego as regulating energy. So in the context of the human experience, we can only handle so much information, which becomes more and more obvious with AI and social media. We can only handle so much information, even though there's an infinite amount of it, but we also can only handle so much energy. Um, our own cellular structure, our subconscious energy, and our unconscious competencies can only handle so much energy. And there's unlimited energy that we're a part of, we're not separate from. And so without the ego or the understanding of the ego to regulate the energy, to help our purpose so that it's greater than our pain, we now can fully understand the reactions to fear that either regulate or interfere with our potential. And so these different ways that we all three are describing how to live at ease and to identify the dis-ease hopefully resonates in different places and parts and pieces of what we're trying to do here today with the consciousness of Passover and the paradigm shift. So it's just good shit. Thank you guys.
Thank you. I love your insight.
Yeah, same. I'll ask for one more before we land the plane for this conversation, which is awesome. God, divine source, universe. I know you use the word God, Alana, so do I. How do you know when it's that energy speaking to us?
Oh, yes. So that is really, I do think I just want to drop a little bit of my story. Um, I grew up obviously in church. I grew up Christian. But I struggled for a lot of years because I knew scripture, but I didn't understand our human design. And that's why I love just bringing in the science with scripture, because science just affirm what the scripture tells us. So that really changed my life, where I started going back to being real and authentic as well in the process. I think as we always, or not always, we often think that we have to have it all figured out. And I think that the most breakthrough that I've seen is when we are real and we say, listen, yeah, I am struggling. It looks like I've got it all figured out, especially on social media, right? It can look like we've got it all figured out and we have all the answers, and it's just all sunshine and roses. But I love when I stand up when I have meetings and I'm like, you see, it's business at the top, but party at the bottom. I don't have it all. I'm not all perfect put together. And I think that's really where we can start making a change in these spaces where we become real. And as believers, myself, say, yes, I love God, but I still struggle, because the struggling is it's coming into my humanness. And so just to give you I'm giving you a long answer to a short question, but God never contradicts his word.
Beautiful.
And one of the things that I often use is, who told me this? So when I think something, I ask myself, who told me this? And I get quickly to the source and the because, the root, the why. But I know that God never contradicts his word. So that's a quick way to know if it's God.
Beautiful. Dave, what's coming through?
I just think it's so important to have faith, whoever your God, your source is. And I always like to simplify things for people. And I think it's a necessity not only to seek wisdom and be more interested than interesting, that curiosity of wanting to learn in the life's journey, but to have faith that we're protected, promoted, loved, and perfected, giving our purpose a greater energy than the pain that is always present. And so for me, that faith is essential to getting to where I want to be, even when there's no evidence, which a lot of times there's none, or even worse, the evidence is contrary to what we think or where we want to be. It is faith and that love of protection, promotion, love, and perfection of finding through gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability all the light, all the love, and all the lessons. So we're just sitting in a state of brilliance here, the expression of God here on Passover, Craig. So
Yeah,
thanks for letting me join.
absolutely beautiful.
So
Since Casey
beautiful.
Adams is nowhere to be found, I'm going to ask Alana one more question, and then we'll land the plane. Um, what is the mindset shift required to be able to avoid burnout?
Oh, burnout is a good one. I think we think burnout is that we are doing too much. It's often not that we are doing too much, it's that we are mismanaging our inner world. And I think even the topic regarding race, I'm actually going to post something about race today. Um, I grew up that race Sabbath is you have to take a nap. I remember again growing up, Lieutenant General, I used to get a hiding, and it's like, I don't know what you call it in America, but I used to get a smack if I didn't go for a rest. And but race is not, we don't, there's 7 types of race actually, and we might be depleted in a different type of race, and it might not be physical rest. And so I think burnout is really just, again, managing our our inner world and tapping into those warning signals, because we have all this wisdom within ourselves. I always say, the call is coming from inside the house. It's coming from inside of us. And so when we answer it, we get to the answer as well. So tapping into, what is my body sensations? What is it telling me? What is my emotions? What is my perspective? What is my behavior? What am I doing? What am I saying? When we tap into that, we actually get to the root. I think we often label people also that do need rest as lazy, and that's not true. We have to shift the way we even ask that question or say that. Is instead of I'm just lazy, we can shift that to why does my body need rest right now? You see the difference? It feels different as well. Where we start seeing ourselves and we welcome ourselves home step by step again. When we tap into that inner world, it's got the answers for us. And then we also tap into which area of rest do we need and have to pour into to actually set ourselves up for the next week.
Beautiful. Dave, take us home.
Yeah. So under the context that everybody is one and that we all have unlimited energy and we're just regulating it, that just goes to the point that we need recovery and we need access. And so for me, as you know, my number one non-negotiable every single day is a minimum amount of time. I have a sleep coach for 18 years to help me with the purpose of sleep, which is recovery and access. And now in the awake time that goes beyond my sleep, I'm utilizing my relativity, my relationship with circumstance in order to facilitate how am I regulating that energy in order to continue to maximize the acceleration, aggregation, compounding impact that I can have in my divine direction. How much time am I spending in detours and how quickly can I utilize and transform and expand those into a divine direction as well? And then understanding time, the divinity of time, the infinite time compared to the 24 hours that I'm guaranteed every day. So I want everyone to realize that nobody has more energy than anyone else. It's just how you're regulating it and how are you recovering and accessing that energy, which includes information, it includes money, it includes all the things that you may not realize are actually energetic in itself because everything's energy. So I want everyone to start with the context of I have unlimited, infinite amount of energy. And what am I doing to interfere with it? How am I recovering and how am I accessing it? And under that guise, that framework, we can really facilitate the ease and identify the dis-ease. Just absolutely brilliant, great context and framework in order to live a life of abundance, of more than enough of everything for everyone.
Unbelievable.
I
Great
love what
stuff.
you, sorry, can I quickly I love what Darryl said there. He actually, that's the first step of self-awareness is deconstruction. And you have to deconstruct and see what is it that you're doing that's interfering with what you actually, the outcome you desire, right? So it's tapping into just gathering the information, and then we can actually do something about it. Tapping into that call from the inside.
Absolutely beautiful. Perfect way to land the plane. Unbelievable energy today. Real quick, Elana, what are you most excited about? Where can our community maybe get more involved? And then Dave, take us home where you'll be on the road next.
Yes. So I'm always on DMs. I love voice messages, connecting with people. I think there's so much power in our voices. So I'm always available in DMs. I am excited about something that's rolling out soon. Well Minds, which is where I will be focusing on next in this secular world, but also corporate, and just helping people to live well by managing their minds well.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us. This was amazing. Uncle Dave,
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I'm going to be in New York. Like I said, join us at the IPO Summit, the NASDAQ. If you want to join us at the NASDAQ, we have incredible people. We're doing a Napoleon Hill. I'm chairman of Napoleon Hill Institute, Napoleon Hill Foundation, charitable VIP dinner in New York City. Then I'll be speaking, meetup, holding court, and a VIP dinner in Boston, speaking, meetup, holding court in Denver just this week. But I want to have everyone join our private networking group. It's thousands of people, billionaires, millionaires. Please come and join us. David at dmeltzer.com. Craig will be there with me. I'll see you in New York. Alana, I look forward to getting together with you on the West Coast.
Yes, absolutely. Let's do it.
We'll get to see you guys. Thank you for the consciousness. Have an unbelievable weekend, guys. Thank you.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Awesome conversation. No place in the world I'd rather be, guys. I hope that was valuable for you. Obviously, check out all the amazing stuff Elana has going on. Thank us later. Uncle Dave and I will be in New York together next Tuesday. If you can make it or if you're around, definitely join us. Also, we're starting our 4-week Build Your Brand Accelerator. How to get clarity in your brand, position yourself, be authority, monetize, offers, all of it. Starts Monday. We're super pumped about it. You could text us about it, 917-624-3796. We have our live event May 15th in New York City, and I'm just super pumped. It's the energy of Passover. Let's let go of all negativity. Let's create freedom, and let's escape our own personal Egypt and make space for what our next level looks like and really connect to that. You don't have to be Jewish to connect to that, guys. Love you so much. Have an unbelievable weekend.